Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of No Me Digas, Zoom edition, because we are on quarantine. And I thought that I think it would be fabulous to have my fellow El Pasoan diva, Vanessa Lopez, on the show. Vanessa, welcome to No Me Digas Zoom edition.
Yay! Finally!
um,
PT in the house.
right? I know, isn't that crazy? Like, I just cannot believe we both work at the same theater and we're both from El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I don't know, did you have a lot of like friends that were into theater growing up?
Well, I mean, I was a theater nerd in high school, so by default, yes. But my family and outside of theater, no, they didn't get it.
Yeah, same. And actually, like, I was a theater nerd also, but the theater department was very small at Del Valle, like, so there wasn't really a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
And even like the theater people weren't like that into it like I was. Cause like for me in high school, I was like, theater is my future, like theater is my life. Whereas everyone else, that wasn't their goal in life, like they just did it for fun. So,
Well, can I tell you just a quick, like, everybody always asks me how I got into this field and whatnot, and I
mm,
was always really good at math. I wanted to be an astronaut. That's
really?
sorry, I want to be an astronaut. I wanted to go into aerospace engineering and build jets. And my senior year of high school, I say I was a theater nerd. I was a theater nerd my senior year. You know how you have to have like 120 some credits to graduate, and at least 6 of them need to be in this and
Right.
whatever. Point is, I needed one more hour of some sort of fine art, and it was between drawing class and theater. And I remember looking at the times, and drawing class was like at 9 a.m. And I was like, my lazy. I was like, no, no, ma'am. I'm not taking no 9 a.m. class. And also, theater to me sounded kind of like the blow off class. So I signed up for theater thinking like, oh, well, whatever, I'll just take theater and hang out. And I became like hooked. And I remember going home and telling my mom, like, Mom, I'm changing my degree plan and what I want to do with life. And I think she had this moment of like, but what about financial stability?
Yeah. Yeah, that's everybody's fear going into theater, everybody or every parent's fear. Because well, I mean, my parents, yeah, I mean, they wanted me to be like a doctor, of course, and
Mhm.
that was gonna happen. But right out of high school, I started working at a call center because in El Paso, that's what happens. You start working at call centers.
Mhm.
And I mean, I left, I had stayed there for 6 years and I was already like a manager at some point, or at that point. And like El Paso people were like, well, then why are you leaving? Why are you going to school? Like, you're already a manager. You can just move up from there. And I was like, oh my God, that is not what I want for my life. But like, I mean, that's not what I wanted for me. There's nothing wrong with that because a lot of people do that in El Paso and like they make a lot more money than I do now. But it's not the life I wanted.
No. We're like Ariel in Little Mermaid. And she's like, I wanna be where the people are.
Exactly.
That was you and me. Our little musical theater hearts like yearning to be where the theater is.
Part of their world. Oh my God. What is it like though for you working in this field? Like, I guess I'm asking, like, what is it like being Latina in this field?
Oh man. I think depending on what part of the country you ask that question in, you'll get a whole bunch of different answers. Because like I was having this conversation with someone the other day, maybe it was you, that being from El Paso, not to, sorry, my people, tú eres mi gente and I love you, but El Paso does not value theater. El Paso, to me, it feels like El Paso does not give two, what's about theater arts. They're like, you do what? Oh, okay. Like, if you're not a nurse, if you're not teaching, if you're not making babies, then what are you doing? Get it together. And so growing up, theater was not super highly valued. And, my whole family, they're they're medical people and they love me to death. But my grandma still tells people I'm a fashion designer. You know, they kind of question. They're like, how does she pay her bills? They think I might have some shady side job. And that, you know, we're surrounded by the Latinx community in El Paso. So you would think if these people don't get it, nobody's going to get it. But that was growing up in that city. And then I spent most of my adult formative years in Central Texas,
Mm-hmm.
where in San Antonio, there's Latinos left and right everywhere.
Yeah.
And San Antonio loves theater. There's community theaters everywhere and everybody supports one another. Of course, the budgets aren't massive for it.
Right.
The city's not dropping tens of millions of dollars to fund all these theaters. A lot of them are just like borrowing and begging and just relying on the help of one another. And it felt really strong in that community.
Right.
So I just felt like another one of the bunch. And when I moved to Austin, you know, Austin and San Antonio are two completely different universes. Austin's a big community town, college town, I mean. And there is not a ton of Latinos who do theater in Austin. They are there. Not to say that they're not anywhere to be found. But when I moved up to Austin for grad school, I felt kind of like I had moved back to El Paso, in the sense of, yes, I was valued as a theater maker, of course, like, and the people I was surrounded with, but it just didn't feel so natural to me that, yeah, these are my people. They're just everywhere. So now that I live in the great northern United States, pretty much Canada, you know, finding you is literally like finding a needle in the haystack. Like, oh, a fellow Latino, and he's from El Paso, and he's obsessed with theater. Like, oh my God, who made the male version of me? And I think that's why you and I get along so well.
I know, it's insane. Like I said, I was in shock when they told me, you know, oh, have you met Vanessa yet? She's from El Paso. And I was like, shut the fuck up.
What?
What?
Yeah, no, being here, I definitely, of course,
Yeah.
I feel welcome. I don't feel like I do feel like I stick out like a sore thumb, but not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we will be in, you know, production meeting or shop meetings and just sitting around, and we'll be talking about equity and diversity issues and inclusivity. And I'll look around and all of my coworkers are white. So I can be like, cool. All right.
Good work.
Yeah, good job. You know, I would make jokes when I first got hired there that in hiring me, the Guthrie was like, we got one, see. But no, I really do feel welcome, and like they love me and they want to include me. It doesn't feel like they're just trying to meet some sort of quota. And it's very easy to feel like that, to feel like you're pigeonholed as like, oh, we got a Latino finally in the shop. We got one.
But no, I mean, it's, I do have like this thing with theater now where it doesn't bring me as much joy as it used to. And it's because I worked in it for so long and I see like a lot of the harsh realities of it.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a
that,
lot of politics in theater. And the longer you do it, the more you realize like,
yeah.
there's a lot of politics in
Oh my
theater.
gosh, so much. And it's just one of those things where like I feel like I no longer want to conquer theater like I did at one point. You know, I wanted to like break all these barriers and like, you know, break down the walls.
Yeah.
But that no longer is like my passion.
Yeah. I think I've reached that point in my career where I realize, like, if people were to ask me who want to get into this field, it's, you know, I've been a teacher too. So I say this from experience that if you get into this career field and you want to stay in this career field, you're going to do it because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
Not for the accolades, not for the awards. It's long, hard, back-breaking work that sometimes is very undervalued, is very underpaid. You know, you're going to spend hours and hours and hours breaking your back to do this project. Nobody cares. We all are. You're
Right.
not special, you know, so you're going to do this just because your love of the art.
Yep.
And so you have to realize that coming into this, that like nobody's going to congratulate you and be like, oh, you're wonderful, you win all the awards. And I think a lot of people when they start theater, I know when I was in high school, we have these big stars in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on Broadway and I'm gonna make
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Beyonce's personal dressmaker. And then we get in here and everybody's like, no, no, girl.
Yeah. That's how I was for years, but it was, yeah, I was young and naive.
Aren't we all still?
Yeah. Um, and I also, for the longest time though, because now I consider myself an artist. That's like the title that I'm okay with. Um, but I do remember like going on those on the fucking dating apps like Tinder and Grindr, and like, of course they're like, what do you do? And I would be like, oh, I'm in the arts. And of course, like, just like the reactions like, oh,
Yeah.
cool.
No, it's the same reaction you get from your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's cute. So, do you have another job? He's like, what's
Yeah,
your full-time job? And I think a lot of that stems from, again, not knocking anybody's choice of career. Everybody's got their hustle, everybody has their passions.
yeah,
But I know when I talk to my family and they hear theater or performing arts, they automatically assume you want to be an actor, you want to be a singer, you
hmm
you know. And I don't know how that connection came about, that when people say they want to go into theater, they automatically want to be an actor. But at least in my family and our culture, that's what it is. And living the life of an actor is hard. I have zero desire to do it, but I have all the respect in the world for all my friends who are actors, because you have to, I'm sensitive, and I remember in undergrad we were taking an acting class and one of the faculty members was straight up like, you're too chunky for this role. And I was like, oh, what? Not directly, he didn't say it mean like that, but just kind of implying like, oh, you're always going to be a character actor, you're never going to be the ingenue, you're too big. And in my head I was like, but he said it in the nice way. When you go out into the world and actually submit your headshots and your resumes, all they care about is how much you weigh, what you look like. You're not a sample size zero, you don't fit any of the things we got here. No, no, no. So you got to deal with that, and then you got to deal with like everybody who does want to be an actor. There's 70 people trying to vie for the same one role,
right, exactly.
and all of them have good training and good vocal speech training, and they can do WXYZ 10 times better than you can. What makes you special? So I don't have the backbone to deal with that.
No, neither do I. Well, and also because, well, it brings me to like to it always goes back to gender for me, because the thing is, I've also realized another reason why I stopped acting is because the roles that I wanted, especially like musicals, like the roles that I wanted to play were always like the female roles, but like not like the ingenues. It was always like the witch and Into the Woods,
Hmm.
like the stepmother and Cinderella, like like I always wanted to play like the evil women, or like the like just like the side characters, but they were always female, and
Hmm.
I never wanted to play any of the male parts, but yet I never, like, if I ever were to play the role, I would still play it like in male form, I guess, because that was the other thing too, where like I didn't want to play the role, like, for example, like the witch. I didn't want to play it as a female. I wanted to play it as myself.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the directors were like, can you butch it up a little bit?
No, it was no, no, no. I think, yeah, and I think with acting, I was like thinking about this like my whole like one day about being non-binary and having to explain that to people, and I was like, oh, well, I could talk about like how when I wanted to be an actor, like I always wanted to play the women parts, but I didn't want to be a woman, But yet, you know, so
It's funny, when I was in undergrad, I did a lot of acting. I almost thought I was going to live that acting life. And I was reflecting on it one time, and every single role I got cast in, I was like a French lady. I played a Brazilian maid. I played a tree. I would joke around that I was the supernumerary extraordinaire. I wanted to be the best supernumerary ever because I would play these random ass roles with no lines, but it gives you so much freedom to be like the weirdo on stage who gets to do everything with your face. And I don't know that that's a race or a ethnicity thing. I live for those roles. You know, like the lady in Streetcar who's like, Flores, flores para los muertos. That's the lady I want to be.
Well, that, and she's one of the first Latina characters in American literature.
Mhm.
Flores para los muertos.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, I was like, does our culture say that though? Like, do we have flower ladies that say, yeah, flores para los muertos?
I mean, maybe in like Mexico City, but we're from the frontera, so
And so I was like, we don't, okay. I'm just questioning Tennessee Williams and his choice of words.
yeah, I think you heard a story one time about someone who went down to El Paso and met a flower lady.
Well, there's a song about El Paso.
Uh-huh. Everybody in El Paso knows the song. I'm down in the West Texas, down in El Paso.
Fell in love with a Mexican girl.
Mm-hmm. I fell in love with Mexican boy.
uh, I never did. Oh my God, dating in El Paso for me was interesting because I didn't date in high school. I only dated a little bit out of high school, but like, yeah, being gay in El Paso, having to sneak out all the time because I was still like in the closet with my parents, and like all the people I would meet usually were also in the closet still with their family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know people who are still, their family knows that
Hmm.
they're gay, but we don't talk about it. We don't talk about
Yeah.
it.
Well, was it this was it this last trip? No, it was the trip before. The trip before I downloaded Grindr because
In
I
El
was bored
Paso?
in El Paso, but I was bored and I wasn't planning on meeting anybody. I was just wanting to talk to people and kind of just see like what the Grindr culture was like in El
El
Paso.
Grindr?
El Grindr. A lot of them were from Juarez, like a lot, like lived in Juarez, and I was like, how do we really reach that far? But I was like, yeah, we do. We're like right by the border. Um, but the guys that were like near me in like in I was at my dad's house. The guys that were near me, like none of them were well, the two that I spoke to, they're both in the closet, and they're like, can I come over to you? And I was like, nope, I'm with my parents. And he's like, well, you can't come over to mine, like I live with my parents. And then he's like, I think there's like a park with a bathroom around here.
Ah!
Oh
And
my
that's how coronavirus started. The
God.
Sucios from El Paso started coronavirus. Thanks.
Oh my God. And but I mean the thing is, okay, I was like, oh well, no, but thank you. But I mean, honestly, like I can't judge that though. I mean, if this is I mean, I'm just saying, I honestly like back in the
Oh,
day, I did
it's
it once.
2020. No slut shaming here.
It's not even like slut shaming because I don't even think this guy's a hoe. I just think he just is in the closet living at home, and he sometimes really needs to hook up with a guy, so he will hook up with somebody in a park because there's also he's probably poor and they can't buy a hotel or anything. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, nobody can host in El Paso. That's the problem. No, everything where we're from is culture. Culture, culture, culture. It's all about respect the culture, respect the elders. And the elders, they're all, old Mexican Catholics.
yeah.
So Santa Maria rules everything. And unfortunately, they still look at homosexuality like sinful. And so I feel really sad for a lot of my friends that are gay in El Paso and people that I know that are gay in El Paso, because some people have come to terms and they're like, whatever, I'm
Yeah.
living my best life, and cool, great for them. But I know a lot of people that they're still dominated by this old Catholic religion, and like, we don't talk about homosexuality in our house. No, keep that over there, you're just going through a phase.
Oh yeah, I was told that, and I was
Yeah,
like,
they
I
think
mean,
you're going through a phase because you hang out with theater kids.
yeah, basically, yeah. Supposedly it's getting better, but I mean, I hope I never find out because honestly, like my nightmare is to move back home. Um, but it's just, I don't know. Every trip home, I feels like it's changing, but yet still stays the same.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like the
My
feeling.
mom knows this. She knows I never intend to move back to El Paso ever. I love my family. I do.
Mhm.
I do miss them, and the whole year will go by and it starts getting around November. I'm like, oh, I miss my family. I can't wait to see them. And then I go home for Christmas and I see them for about a week. And the rest of El Paso, I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
I can't spend my life just chilling at my mom's house.
right. Exactly. Well, also, and then, well, because I quit drinking as well, so that kind of like eliminates one big thing that I used to do in El Paso.
I know. And when I go to El Paso, though, I eat. I eat like it's my job to eat.
Yeah.
Every holiday I put on like 20 pounds just from my week in El Paso alone. Because I will say I miss my family, and all the food in El Paso, like nothing compares to El
No,
Paso food.
nothing. Oh my God, what's your favorite restaurant? Where do you go?
My favorite restaurant in El Paso. I mean, it sounds like a cop out, but I freaking love Chico's. I'm a Chico's fan. I know some people hate it and they're like, especially because they got new cheese.
Oh my God, that was a huge controversy though.
I
Like,
know. When they changed the cheese, it was like,
like I'm surprised there wasn't protest.
I'm there might have been, but no, I love Chico's, and I love how in El Paso, especially around like Central and when you get close to downtown, on every corner there's some like shitty looking building that looks like it's about to fall apart with one good wind gust, and
Yeah.
it's always called like Lopez, Cocina de Lupe or something like that. Some random, but oh my God, you walk in there and it always smells like bleach, but they have the best breakfast burrito, and it is burrito, what I think they would call a soft taco up here. That's what I tell everybody. If it's in a flour tortilla, it's a burrito.
Burritos.
Yes. You do not put tacos in a flour tortilla. That's not a thing.
No, but we have Taco Bell to blame for that. They're the ones that taught America.
Mm-hmm.
Those are,
Yeah, I live for those places. What I haven't had in years, what I would kill for is just like a good ass Mexican breakfast. With the papas and the refried beans and like some chilaquiles with a fried egg on the side and like cafe de olla. I could very easily make it, but it always tastes better when
someone
like
else makes it. Yeah.
someone else makes it and they made it with love and the salsa is just right. Oh, where am I gonna find that
Um,
place? Minnesota.
there is one in St. Paul. I think it's called Boca Chico.
Hmm.
They have like a breakfast buffet like for brunch. So if it's open after all of this, like we need to go.
I know. And not to say that there's not good Mexican food in other places. Just I like that border ass Tex-Mex food, that's like real greasy. Because the stuff you get here is real hipster and fancy, and it's cut like a nice little tostada frame, and they'll put like a sprig of cilantro and make it look beautiful. I'm like, no, I need my Mexican food to just look like
Right.
plop on the plate. But that's when it tastes so good.
I know. Well, quarantine has like forced me to cook, so I do cook a lot. Um, but I do, I mean, my meals consist of rice and beans with like something in them.
Oh,
But
same, sis.
have you been able to find rice? I'm running out of rice and I haven't been able to like find new rice.
Like dry rice?
Yeah.
Oh no. I mean, I've got I've got like 6 bags of rice here at my house. I'll give you one if you want. It's because I like different rice for different things.
Hmm.
So I made paella one time, and I like the little short arborio rice for that. And then I like jasmine rice whenever I'm making like grilled chicken and stuff. I actually, man, you made me want to make my mom's Spanish rice now. My mom's Spanish rice is so good. Isn't every Mexican you ever meet, every Hispanic will be like, oh, but my mom's rice. And it's true. My mom has the best rice I've ever tried in my life. It's like just salty enough, and she'll put crushed red peppers in it. And I've tried to recreate it a whole bunch of times, but for some reason she knows like the exact ratio of tomato sauce to water to salt to put in it.
Yeah. Same. Like my mom also makes bomb Spanish rice, and like I've tried to make it, doesn't always comes out different. But I think I like mine more because my secret is I add cayenne pepper to my rice.
Ooh, I'm gonna
Mm.
come over for some of this rice when we're
Oh my
free.
God.
We're free on these streets again.
You should actually. That's the thing. Like, because I for the longest time I was like I hate cooking, but now I've become more into it. So like I made tacos de papa the other day. I made beans. I'm making all the food. I bought squash, so I'm excited to make squash with onion and tomato. Usually you make it with Munster cheese, but I don't.
Calabaza con queso.
Yeah, exactly. I don't eat cheese. So I'm just gonna do without the cheese and just get like, make the spices just right. But I'm
Mm,
excited to
okay.
just cook all this Mexican food. So what I'm saying, basically my point is when all of this is over and hopefully it's soon, like I really do want to bring people over and like just like feed everyone.
Yes, have like a little potluck.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. That's totally gonna happen. Um, do you feel that quarantine has changed you?
Oh, hands down, yes.
Yeah.
Quarantine has changed me, especially in relation to dating and what I will and will not tolerate. And there's some people that I would talk to that I had talked to from like back in the day,
Mm.
and I hadn't talked to them in years. And now all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Just checking on you." Just I was like, "Oh, now that you're lonely as hell, now is when you want to check on me and make sure I'm alive and okay." No, thank you. And for lack of a better term, I've dated a lot of fuckboys in my life. Like, oh, you just magically you breadcrumb me like crazy, and then you magically disappear all of a sudden, and now here you are. Like I saw this meme one time that was like, oh, I love that thing that's so cute where you don't text me back for days. Like that's my life. I'd date these people that, and I would tolerate it. I'd be like, I would make excuses for them,
Mhm.
that, oh, they're just busy and everybody's got busy lifestyles, and but now that literally the whole world is stopped and everybody has nothing but time,
Mhm.
there's literally zero excuse for why you're unaccountable, that you can't be bothered to even like say hello. And so I feel like quarantine has really made me be like, no, I'm not making excuses. If you wanted to text me, you would text me, you know
Mhm.
and I know people always say that, and you always hear that in dating advice, like if a guy wants you, he'll actually check in and say hi, and he won't just disappear for like a week and then show up in your DMs a week later. But now with quarantine, I feel that, and I know that. I'm like, I know for a fact you are literally sitting at your house 24 hours a day, and I've texted you like 4 times in the past 4 days. You can't be bothered once to respond and say, "Hey, how's it going?" So, I the second I see that now, I'm like, no, no, bye. I don't think so. I don't think so. And there is a person I was talking to, and at first I was like, okay, he's cool. We could be friends, but he's maintained constant communication, and I think he's the same as me. It's just like, we ain't got nothing better to do. Let's text each other. And in my head, I think before he probably was not the type I would go for at all. But
Mhm.
now, hopefully he doesn't watch this because he'd be like, is she talking about me? We're friends on Facebook, so he might. In
No,
my head, I see this and I go, see, this is literally the minimum effort that somebody has to put in to
mhm.
like just show somebody that you're thinking about them, that you care about them. And having this whole quarantine validates that. Like literally when people have nothing but time and nothing to do and they still can't be bothered to text you back, like, okay, we're not dealing with that anymore.
Yeah, it's time to move on. I'm surprised you text him 4 times. I would have been done after the first one. Like, oh, you're not responding to me? Okay, bye. Then we're
I
done.
know.
But
I
the
know.
thing is, I needed constant attention. That's actually one thing that I have realized in relationships, that I need to be in contact with them like a lot. Not necessarily see them all the time, because I can't be with anybody a lot. But I need them to like pay attention like all the time.
I don't. My big thing, and I know people have like called it quits with me before over this. I'm sort of needy in the sense that like good morning text to me, either a good morning or a good night, means the world to me. You know,
Mm,
there's all this time in the freaking day. It takes literally half a second to just say good morning, good morning, good morning. And I know people are like, oh, it's so repetitive. I got to tell you good morning every night. Yes, yes. It literally, to me, because it tells me that I was on your brain for half a second enough that you wanted to say, good morning. I hope you have a good day. And if I don't hear from you the rest of the day, cool. Okay, whatever. I know that you thought of me in that moment,
right.
but there's people that can't even be bothered to
Yeah.
say good morning or good night. And I don't know, maybe it's the Cancer in me. I'm a Cancer zodiac sign, and we're needy. We're needy, sensitive bitches, but we love hard. We go hard for the people we love, but we also, when we're hurt and we're pissed off, we're just as aggressive with our reactions. And that, I don't know, maybe I need to chill out with demanding good nights and good mornings from people.
No, that is not true. Like, you need to keep your standards. And honestly, like, that's not even a high standard. Like, to have somebody text you good morning, like, I mean, I feel like that should be like a given.
Yeah. Another thing I know quarantine has taught me is I do not tolerate, or I will not, because I did tolerate it before, people who flake on me. People who flake on me for nothing at the last minute, for like really stupid, insignificant things. So I was supposed to have a FaceTime date with a guy. And at the last minute, he's like, oh, hey, my roommate just made food. So can we reschedule our date? And in my head, it's really not the end of the world. Okay, whatever. But you and I had this, we had made a plan. I went and like did my makeup, because this shit takes effort. And then I will tell you that I got long ass hair to brush all this out and style it and not make it look like mange. That takes effort. Putting my makeup takes effort. I put all this effort literally just to have a digital phone date with you. And for you to cancel it because your roommate made food, it's not like, oh, my roommate got in a car accident and I need to go take care of him. My roommate has coronavirus. Of course, I get life happens and sometimes people got to flake. But he flaked on me for some food. And I know before I've always been like, oh, that's okay. No worries. Because we're taught, I listen to the My Favorite Murder podcast, and they have this saying that's like, fuck politeness. But girls, we are taught that we have to be like, oh, polite, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll reschedule it and yada, yada, yada. But I think this is Tommy to be like, no, fuck that. How about you tell your roommate that you'll eat with them some other time because you have something planned? So I'm not tolerating that no more from nobody. So anybody that hears this, sorry, bye. Maybe quarantine has made me like an icy, cold-hearted bitch, but ni modo. I was like that anyways.
You're just letting your true colors fly. And
I know.
that's fabulous.
But I like it because it won't, I feel like I won't be dealing with no beta males anymore, because it's literally, I've known that it takes a lot of guy to deal with all this attitude and deal with all me. But if I show it to him out front and I'm like, no, 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 I'm not tolerating that, and he's still willing to work through it and continue dating with me, then I'll be like, okay,
No, he's a
you just
keeper.
might be worth it. He's a keeper.
Oh God. Where do you meet these guys?
Online. Where else am I gonna meet people? I ain't meeting nobody at work.
I don't think you want to. No offense to anybody.
No, it's not. No offense to anybody at the Guthrie. I love my coworkers. They're cool people. But our industry, especially men who work in a costume shop, tend to not prefer women born of my Tinder.
Mm,
So
no.
it's very rare that I would naturally meet somebody at work who's interested in dating me. Trust me, I would love nothing more than to have one of those stupid ass movie moments where we're both at Trader Joe's and we both reach into the ice cream freezer and grab the same ice cream. We're like, oh, oh, you like chocolate mint too? Well, it's the last tub. Maybe we can share. I would love that shit, but it does not happen that way. So I have to turn to the only way that's available, which is unfortunately friggin' online dating. And apparently, once people get online, they like get coronavirus of the brain instantly and they just like forget how to act and everything gets all messed up, and then they're like, show me your tits. Like people turn into a whole other beast online, and I think like, does that work for you? Have you ever tried that line at Trader Joe's? And some girl was like, yeah, absolutely.
What line? Wait, what?
There's there I'm sure there's the same type of guys in your community. People are just like instantly vulgar, or they feel entitled to like some sort of response from you. If they send you a message. There's another thing too. Whenever a dude messages me and the intro line is just, hey, to me, I think like, oh, dude, you could put more effort into a hello, at least a hello, how are you? And I think some people, and I'll say that, I have a bad habit of saying exactly what I feel about them and their intros and their responses, and I'll say it in the message. And if they just say, hey, I'll be like, hello, how are you? And they're like, sup. And then I'll say something like, do you have any more language between one letter sentences? And they're like, well, if you're gonna be a fucking bitch about it, then next. They go, okay, well.
Oh my God. Yeah, online dating for me, it doesn't really work. And actually oh my God, I'm gonna say it. But I was talking to my friend last night about, we were chatting about our Grindr hookup stories, and like, what was the best one? What was like the weird one? And I told him that like my Grindr hookup stories are usually just, they tend to be awkward and weird. But um let me tell you one, it's not even like nasty. But I was on my lunch break at work chatting on some with some guy from Scruff, because he messaged me and was like, oh hey, like I like your facial hair. And I was like, cool, thank you. And then he asked me if I got it done, and I was like, oh, I do it myself. And he's like, oh wow, do you do it professionally? And I was like, no. And then he's like, oh, do you know anybody that does uh trimming of what do you call it, basically pubic trimming? That's what he was looking for. And I was like, no, I
Like you
don't.
wanted to shave a little heart?
He wanted somebody to shave his pubes. And I was like, sorry, I don't. And he's like, well, I have piercings on my penis, so I need to do it. I need to get it done professionally because I have a hard time doing it myself. And he's like, would you like to see it? And I was like, sure. So he sent me a picture of this like pierced penis. Like the whole thing is pierced, like from the balls to, I mean, the whole thing. It's like pounds and pounds of metal. And I was like, cool. And he's like, I'm actually staying at a hotel nearby. If you want to come and see it, you're more than welcome to. And I was like, cool, I get off from work at 5. So after work, I went to a hotel close by and met this guy who was like short, muscular daddy. Like he was cute. I guess he was hot. But we went to his room and then he just like pulls it out. And like I saw this like,
No, hello. Like, welcome. You just
no,
whipped
it was
out.
first like, hey, how's it going? Cool. He closes the door and he's like, well, this is it. And he pulls it out and he's like showing me like, like he's lifting it and like just, and I was like, cool. And I mean, I was just, I was just like looking at it. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, thanks for coming by. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. And then I, and then when I left, and then as I was walking away, he sends me a message like, oh, hey, thanks for coming over. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. And he's like, I would have let you touch it, but you seemed hesitant. And I was like, oh, that's sweet of you. But thank you. I was good. I was like, but I was like, no, I don't want.
It was like an art installation. Like you just go and
Yeah, basically.
okay.
I mean, I think he might have wanted to hook up, but like honestly, I wasn't gonna let that thing anywhere near me. Like it was. I mean, it was worth the going to the altar to see it, but I mean, like I wasn't gonna touch it.
Ugh. Oh my God, was it Joe Exotic?
No,
Did he offer you meth?
no, I guess we didn't get that far because I seemed hesitant. So
You seemed
um,
hesitant. You'll never know if it was Joe Exotic.
that's true. But I mean, I don't know because when he said that, I was like, I wonder what I must have looked like. I was probably just like,
You had a clutch in your pearls moment.
or more so just like a judgy face. Like I
That's
don't
so
know.
funny. That's
But
so funny. I don't, maybe it's a Latino thing or Latinx thing, but yeah, I'm the same way. I can't hide my distaste or my reactions for things. Even if I'm like, yeah, my face is literally like, yeah.
yep, same. But oh man, yeah. So those are basically my grinder hookups.
I do not envy the
No,
world of Grindr.
no, it's oh god, it's awful.
I don't envy.
Um,
I don't. Does anybody have a successful online dating story? I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure there are. There has to be at least one. Anybody I know?
um, it actually works for white people.
Mm,
Because I have a lot of friends actually in these parts that met online and they're married and happy.
mhm.
I mean,
You know what I think my problem? I mean, I say up here, but I had the same problem in Texas where there's Latinos everywhere.
mhm,
Is that like I think people see my profile and they see my picture and they're like, "Ooh, exotic!" Like
mhm.
let me try something a little exotic and on the spicy side. And then they meet me and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," because I got a whole lot of attitude, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell you that, and they're like, "Whoa, maybe I just want to look at your picture." Like
Yeah.
Latinos, we have a stereotype for a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one guy I remember he apparently I reminded him of his ex-boyfriend. So he was like, "Oh, he taught me how to make I forgot what. I think it was like enchiladas or something." And he's like, "Do you make enchiladas? Like how about I come over and like you can make me enchiladas?" And I was like, "Bitch, I am not gonna cook for you."
I know. Did people ever ask you if you make tamales? You know how to make
Yeah.
tamales?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Why is that the question that white people always ask me first? Like, do you know how to make tamales? No, everybody knows. Everybody's got a dealer in El Paso. Everybody's got their tamal dealer. Everybody knows a lady or somebody's tia who makes like 70 dozen at Christmas time.
Yep.
No, we don't know how to make tamales.
No, we have Walmart. We just go to the parking lot at
I
Walmart.
know. You go to the parking lot at Walmart or Ocho Grande, Big Eight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I mean, yes, sometimes you do get sick, but I mean, like, that's just the risk you take.
My mom says that's why we're not gonna get coronavirus. She's like, we used to eat nasty shit out of Ascarate Lake, so our intestinal system is probably jaded to coronavirus. It's like, bring it on. You know what I've been eating my whole life?
I mean, did you ever go to the eloteros, like on the corners, like
Oh
the
yeah,
elote trucks? Oh my
oh
God.
yeah. In downtown El Paso, the elote en vaso. Oh man, I live for that. I would kill for
Mhm.
some elote en vaso right now.
Well, the El Paso, I think it was called Smith's at the time, like in the lower valley. There was always a elote truck in front of Smith's, and when we go grocery shopping, we'd come home with elotes. Um, and yeah, I remember we all got sick once, but yet we kept going.
I know you're like, whatever.
I mean, yeah, that was the one thing because that's the one thing. Like I remember my friend and she lived in Juarez. We worked at the same call center, but she never paid. Um, she never bought groceries. And I was like, how do you live? And she's like, well, I live in Juarez. So I mean, like, we buy tacos and burritos from like all the trucks because like burritos over there are like $1.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's actually not even there. So at the time there were like what 50 cents. So she would spend like less than $10 for a shit ton of food.
Oh my God. Don't you miss the food in Juarez?
Yes, a
So
lot.
can I tell you about the best hot dog? Probably one of the best meals, but the best hot dog I've ever had in my life
Mm-hmm.
was in Juarez. I
Mm-hmm.
was there at Esfinge with my boyfriend. I don't know if my mom knows this. Sorry, mom. But I was in Juarez at Esfinge with my boyfriend. And we had left at the end of the night, and there was this just little like, just a taco truck outside Finke. And I think it said like I remember it saying Ghirardelli or Ghirardelli, something like that. I don't even remember. I just remember this hot dog. It was like a foot long, and the weenie, it was super skinny. It was a really skinny weenie, and it was wrapped in bacon, and then it was smothered in queso, but good queso, not like somebody the other day in Minnesota called it cheese sauce, which is what it is. But I'm like, no, it's queso. So this hot dog had queso on it, not cheese sauce. And it had like refried beans, and then I think caramelized onions and jalapenos. And this hot dog, sometimes you just have meals that like 2 decades later, you remember them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, remember that damn hot dog I had in Juarez outside that bar with? I will always and forever. I'll be 90 years old still thinking about that damn hot dog.
Yeah, it's
Something
there.
about the water in Juarez, all the food tastes better.
Mhm. I've seen that hot dog. I one time my friend took me to a kermesse over there, and they had that truck that had those hot dogs. So they were like this big. And the thing is, I had just eaten, so I was like I didn't eat it, and I regret it till this day
Oh my God.
because at
I
the
don't,
time I ate meat. So
I know. I wish I could find those people that made them hot dogs. But
yeah.
yeah, we have no desire to go back to Juarez ever. I asked my mom the other day, I was like, did you go to Juarez for something? She's like, hell no.
No.
Juarez is a no-go zone now. My little brother lives in Juarez, and my grandma's like, mm, I'm not going back over there.
I mean, I just, I mean, it's dangerous, but I mean, the thing is, it's dangerous if you don't know, if you're not from there, it's dangerous. But I mean, if you're from there and you're like comfortable driving there, you know your way around. I mean, it's still somewhat dangerous, but I just, yeah, I have no desire to go back.
I know. Ever since 2008, like I remember 2008 is when all the narcos were like, all right, we're in charge now. And then just everybody was like dying left and right. And I specifically remember 2008 because I had wanted to go over to Juarez. And my grandma, she's like, hell no, absolutely not. No, 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 no. I had never seen her be so adamant about not wanting to do something. I
Mhm.
was like, but I really want to go to Juarez. Like, Via del Mar tastes so much better in Juarez than it does in El Paso.
It does.
Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
I mean, it's so weird. It's the same because is it it's not even a franchise, right? Or isn't it
I
just
don't know. I mean, it looks the same, but
right? It's just, but it's weird. It's not as good in El Paso, and it's way more expensive in El Paso,
yeah,
which makes zero sense. But anyway, oh my God, I'll just talk about food.
I know. No, I want one of those hot dogs. Just try
I
and make
know.
one.
Oh my God. So we are getting close to the end of No Me Digas.
What? We've just been like talking a whole bunch of nonsense like we always do.
I
It went so
know.
fast.
Weird.
I don't even know what we talked about. It was just kind of like, hey,
Uh, well, you're just gonna have to rewatch it. It's
I
gonna
know.
be great. So, I do have one final question for you, Vanessa.
Huh?
Um, if you had something to tell the people, the community, what would it be? What do you want to tell the people?
The Latinx community or just Minnesota in general.
What do you want to tell the people?
What do I want to tell the people? I want to tell the people that in these times, nowadays, is a time to reevaluate and reassess what is actually important and worth fighting for and fighting about. You know, pick and choose your battles with your family, with your loved ones, because it's very easy for us to latch on to little stupid petty things and hold grudges over stupid petty things like, oh, she talked to my man back 20 years. None of that's important. You know, all of this coronavirus is, I know we say it all the time and it sounds really cliche, but you could literally die at any moment from the air. You could catch something in the air and like a week later you're not there anymore. So just be nice to people, you know. General rule of thumb, don't be an asshole. Because you never know if it's the last time you're going to talk to somebody, and that's the memory that they're going to leave this earth with, that like you were an asshole to them. So yeah, just be kind, be
I love
patient.
that. Be kind and don't be an asshole. You
Don't
heard
be
it
an
here.
asshole. Come on. Wait, you mean to make a manual for you and write down a handbook? No estás
No
culero.
seas culero, pendeja.
No.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Anytime.
And on that note, we say bye. All right, peeps. Hasta la próxima.
Bye, bye, mi gente.